Hello and welcome to a short demonstration of Yaap. Yaap is an annotation processing framework for JavaScript. It allows to annotate arbitrary Java objects with annotations which can be processed. It's very extensible, so you can easily define your own annotations. In the following, I want to demonstrate Yaap on two very simple examples, and I will show you how it will look in a more complex environment. First of all, the kind of hello world for annotation processing. You have a very simple JavaScript object. This is some kind of logger that has a logging function which sets two parameters, a message and level. And it just logs to console. So if you call it with only one parameter, let's see what happens. Let's call it, and well, it prints undefined and the message because we didn't define the level parameter. Now the point is that I want to have some default level here, and I could with some if constraint I could check if level is unassigned and so on and so on. But I want to demonstrate Yaap, and therefore I will use Yaap. So first of all we have to import it, and the second step is simply to let Yaap process the logging object. That's basically it. To be able to use the annotations. Now Yaap brings some out-of-the-box annotations for you. For example, it allows to null check values, or it allows to set some default values. That's what I now want to do, and for that I use unsurprisingly the default annotation with some default value, and that's it. As you see, it's a comment. Actually, it's just a comment, but Yaap is able to process these comments in the source and reacts on these, or calls some annotation processors on these annotations. So let's see if this works. So here you see now it's called info because this is the default value that I gave. Now I can also define my own level, and well, it works. Let's come to a more complex example. This time I use Wire.js. Wire.js is basically a dependency injection framework for JavaScript, and let's have a look at the example. So I have two objects in the wire context. Let's have a look at the object. So there is again a logger, as we just saw it. It has a default annotation on the level parameter, and it's exported. So the second object, which I called simple object, is just an object with a simple function. This function accepts a logger and logs some string. So wire now works by defining a wire context. Let's have a look at the context. So first we import wire and we give it our context. So we create the logging object, we create the object itself, the simple object, and finally, after the context is set up, this function will be called. Now let's call our simple object with the compute answer function, and it receives the logger itself. Alright, so let's see what happens if I run this program. yeah, as expected, it the object received the logger, but then because Yaap is not active, it prints undefined, so the annotations are not processed by now. Alright, so let's introduce the Yaap plugin to make it to make annotations work. Yaap comes, so you don't have to install any other plugin, any other node module. So Yaap comes with a Wire plugin. Alright, so this is it. Now we can use annotations on every object. Like we saw before, you can use the default annotation. Let's see if this works. Here you go. This time it's the default value instead of undefined. And you can use some other stuff that's specific for the Wire.js integration. As a developer, for example, I don't want to care on why should I give the logger into the compute answer function. So let's remove that. It's more clear. And because in this the simple object knows that it needs a logger, it can also like auto inject it or auto wire it by itself, so no need for the developer to care about. Now, some of you may know the auto-wired annotation from Spring in Java, and it basically does the same as in Java. So in this example, it fetches the logger object from the wire context and injects it during the function call. So let's see if this works. And you see that it works because the answer is printed, and as you see, we didn't fed in any logger object, so it works behind the scenes. It's very transparent. Now Yaap does contain some more annotations. I don't want to show every annotation in this demonstration, but you can have a look at the website. There are a lot more. Next thing, I just want to show you or demonstrate you a little more complex application and the use of Yaap in this application. So let's have a look at this little application here. It's a notepad application, and it's basically just some web application that allows you to edit some documents here and whatever, save them, and yeah, add some new documents and so on. So let's have a look at the source code. The interesting thing about this application is that it's modeled with the Yaap Express plugin. The Yaap Express integration allows you to develop web applications in the manner of Spring MVC. So you have models, you have views, and you have controllers. And like in Spring, the controllers define the endpoints that are called, or functions that are called, if a user requests some website. So let's have a look at the document handler. It's as you can see, there are a lot of annotations used here. This is, for example, here's the already known auto-wired application. You can use the post construct application. All work as known from the Spring framework. So post construct means basically that this init function will be called after the whole controller object was set up by the container. And now you have a lot of different annotations here. Like you have the get annotation, which states that this function will be called if there's a request for this endpoint. You have an auth annotation, which means this function can only be called if the user is authenticated. There is a param annotation, and so on and so on. So if you want to have more information on this Express.js integration for Yaap, you can also have a look at the website. There are a lot of documentation about it. So this should close our little demonstration of the annotation processing framework Yaap. As you saw, it allows you to easily annotate objects with additional knowledge and keep these technical knowledge out of your business logic. It is easily extendable, and you can have a look on the website to see how it can be done. Also, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me, send me a message and ask me. Thank you for listening, and have a nice day.